You wake up and your brain is already buzzing. Global headlines, news chat dings, group chat dings, deadlines stacked sky high, and the notifications coming in faster than you can keep count. And that's all before breakfast. As a strategic communication professor who specializes in risk and crisis communication, I've spent over 15 years studying what happens when this constant overload collides with real life. And here's what I've learned. It's not the chaos that breaks us. It's how we've been taught to deal with it. In 2025, we don't just read the news. We feel the news, the rising costs, the political division, the budget cuts. There are times it just feels like it's all on fire. And we take that weight into our homes, into our lives, and into our very bodies. That is why burnout doesn't come from simply doing too much. Burnout comes in living in all this constant chaos. Gallup has recently reported that 25% of United States employees currently report that they experience burnout often or always. And most people report that they experience burnout sometimes. This is no longer an individual struggle. This has become a workplace epidemic. And yet, we've been told that we have this simple fix: work-life balance. You put work on one side and you put life on the other, and somehow the scale evens out. But let's be honest, life isn't a scale. Life is so much more built like a Jenga tower. There are times when it's strong and steady, but there are also times when it's shaky and uneven, and even sometimes it's under constant strain. Balance is our decoy, but yet we all keep falling for it. So if balance won't save us, what will? Well, the answer is clarity. You have to name what is most important to you and make deliberate choices that reflect that. But here's the key. Clarity alone isn't enough. Nobody can read your mind. You have to communicate what's important to you, your values and your needs, so other people know how to support you. Balance breaks us. Clarity and communication save us. Now, maybe you've experienced the same. Maybe you've kept pushing when you knew you just couldn't do anymore. Maybe you've experienced something that you just really hoped that you could keep your tower upright. But what we know is that we have to think of ways that we can make it more clear. When we live life that way, a collapse always comes. And when mine did, I almost lost everything. 3 years ago, I was carrying twins, and my body was giving me a lot of signals that something was wrong. I couldn't walk to my mailbox without gasping for air. I had to get a disability hang tag so I could park close enough to just reduce the number of steps just to make it to work. When I took this to my medical team, they just said, "Oh, I think it's just a twin pregnancy." So I did what so many of us do. I kept pushing, I kept teaching, I kept mothering, but I also kept quiet. You see, what we don't know is what happens out there when we're trying to fight through all of these things. And what is so crazy about all of this is 2 weeks after my twins were born, my entire tower just collapsed. I'd spent the night before unable to breathe. I could only sleep if I was sitting straight up, and every breath that I took, it felt like I was breathing through sand. So the next morning, I went to urgent care, and not long after that, I was rushed to the ER. You see, what I didn't realize had happened is this whole time of my pregnancy, my lungs had completely filled with fluid. And after a lot of testing that day, I will never forget when the emergency room doctor looked me straight in the eye and he said, "You are in active heart failure. Our job is to get you out of here, out of this hospital alive. That moment shattered me. I built a career I loved. I created the family I always wanted. And yet I was living under this illusion that I was keeping it all steady. And the irony of all of this is I've spent so many years working with companies to identify warning signals before the crisis hits. But when it came to my own, I ignored them. That's when I realized that clarity is not a theory. Clarity is survival. Now, maybe your collapse doesn't look like mine. Maybe it's 3 a.m. and your mind won't stop racing. Maybe you say yes to something at work that you just know you don't have the capacity to add to your plate. Maybe you snap at your family or your loved ones and you don't really even realize why. If any of that lands, your tower isn't weak. Your load is too heavy, and that is not failure. That's a clarity signal. Because we all know what it feels like when the tower starts to shake. We all know that towers that are built that way, they don't last forever. They lean, they wobble, and sometimes just one thing just makes it all collapse. And when mine did, I had to let go of balance and I had to attach myself to clarity. But more importantly than that, I had to tell people about it. Now, here's the thing with clarity. You can't just snap your fingers and it comes to you. No, clarity comes in small, unexpected moments. And at least that's where it starts. And for me, that started the same year of my maternity leave. And I was sitting in my living room talking to my mom. My mom's a nurse, and she had just semi-retired, but she shared with me that day that instead of slowing down, she was choosing to return to work on the hospital floor. And I shared with her my truth of what I was experiencing. I dreaded going back to work. I was still in heart failure at the time. I had twin infants and a toddler at home, none of who were sleeping. And that year, I had to go up for promotion. The sheer thought of returning to that level of work, or to returning to work and that level of exhaustion, it simply terrified me. And I'll never forget, though, what my mom said to me. Without hesitation, she just said, "Oh, I actually love going to work. I really look forward to seeing my patients every night." And I just froze. Here was my mom at retirement age, choosing to return to one of the most chaotic work environments imaginable. And she wasn't drained. She was energized. I could see it in her face. I could see it in the way that she said it. Her work fueled her. It didn't deplete her. And in that moment, something inside me changed. For the very first time, I realized it isn't my job that's draining me. It's my unclear priorities. But I also realized something else. I had the power to change it. And so this isn't just a lesson that we hear in my living room. No, we've seen this on the world stage. When Simone Biles stepped away from the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, some people called that quitting. But it wasn't. That was clarity. She named her priorities, mental health and well-being, and even more than that, she communicated those to her team, to her coaches, and to the entire world. She didn't fall. She reset. And in doing so, she gave millions of people permission to do the same. So my collapse, my mom's energy, Simone's reset, it's proof of the same truth. Clarity, not balance, is what saves us. So, how do we do it? Well, clarity comes from making one decision at a time by you. No one is going to come and do this for you. Now, sure, much of what's burning out there, it's systemic. It's stuff that we can't control. But clarity is something that we can control. It shapes what we accept, what we decline, what we renegotiate, and what we ask for out loud. That's why I created CLEAR, CLEAR. This is not just another framework. No, this is a survival map, a how-to guide of how to get clarity in your life and communicate it to others. So let's dive in. C, claim your core. First thing that you have to do, you have to find and identify 3 non-negotiable values, because those become the anchor when the noise starts to spike. Research shows us that when we do name these values, that it affects positively our well-being. And so, if you're not sure how to start, okay, go online, look up a values list. Brene Brown actually shares one for free. Take a look at the list, choose 3 of them, and those become your compass. That is how you claim your core. L, link work and life. Stop chasing balance. Instead, find ways to integrate or link work and life together. Take one of those non-negotiables that you had. If it's family, put a CEO hour on your calendar every day so you can protect that time just like you would any other meeting. This allows you to do work stuff at work so you don't have to take it home, and you can protect your evening time with your family. The goal isn't perfection. It's linked integration. E, evaluate energy. Your energy is currency. And Mel Robbins talks about this all the time. The way that you spend your energy, that becomes your life. So do a weekly energy audit. Top 3 drainers over here, top 3 energizers over here, and look for patterns. If the same meeting drains you every single week, that's not just frustrating, that's data. And then you take that information and you run it through my 3D test. Decide to do it better, delegate it, or decline it. And by doing this, you have made a way that burnout is no longer a mystery. Burnout now is a math problem that you can solve. A, activate your ask. This is the communication piece. Clarity is only powerful when you speak it out loud. So the next time that you have an ask, try this statement. In order to do my best work, this is what I need. That's exactly what I did after my health scare. I took this to my department head with a list of new teaching expectations, and together we came up with a plan forward. And I'll tell you what, this works also with a lot of the leaders that I've trained. Leadership that is clear on their expectations of their team see a rise in trust and performance. Self-advocacy isn't selfish. It's strength. And then finally, repeat and refine. Now, none of this process is a one and done. You have to, every season of life makes it, so we have to review what we're doing. So you have to complete the loop. Try it, apply it, speak it, refine it, try again. That is how you can become clear and make things in your life more aligned with the most important things that you care about. So, skip forward to today. I got the promotion. I have 3 young babies and a life that I love, and I have a healthy heart. And it's not because life got easier. It's because I got clearer. I use CLEAR every single day now. I focus on what I can control, and I name my non-negotiables. My family first, time that I control, an impact that I can measure, and as much as I can, I try to make my work align with that. I evaluate my energy, and when I can, I decline what is draining me. But what I've gotten most successful in doing is asking those around me and telling them what I need. And then, of course, every month I reassess, reevaluate. I look at what worked, at what didn't, what fit and what didn't. Because clarity is not one choice. Clarity should become your lifestyle. We've even incorporated this into our family language. So every morning, my now 2-year-old twins and my 4-year-old, this is how we start our day. I am brave. I am strong. I can do hard things. I am a kind friend. And I am going to make today the best day ever. That is clarity in action. We name it, we say it, and we live it. So here's my challenge to you. This week, take one conversation, one boundary, one instance, and run it through clear. See what shifts. I have seen this change classrooms, team norms, and leadership mentality. It works. So the next time it feels like the world is burning out there, or you start to feel that tower shake inside, focus on what you can control. Your clarity and your ask. And for the students that are here tonight, if you focus on clear now, you won't have to find yourself when you're 40. And for the rest of us in here, the next time that it feels like your brain is buzzing, don't reach for balance. Reach for clarity and say it out loud. Balance breaks us. Clarity and communication save us.